Right, okay. Speaking of which, though, this is perfect because this moves into my bad point, and Maui already teased it unknowingly, which is, bro, I'm actually going to frame this the most annoying, incendiary way possible because it's what I do. Listen, Baryshnikov danced, Mozart composed. I do this. I play your emotions. So this is how I'm going to phrase it. This is how I know every single one of you, no matter what you would say when not hooked up to a lie detector, actually does in your heart of heart know s1mple is the best player to ever play Counter-Strike in any context ever. And the reason I know you all believe it as much as you believe tomorrow the sun will come out. Here's how I know you believe it. Because the guy has never played CS2 before. He came in, 8 months after everyone started playing, got dropped into an online game to play a team, by the way, that grinds like a motherfucker right now, the Metasport team, and they're actually pretty good. And you all, for real, expected him to be the best player in the world. You know you did. Don't deny it. The reason you're going so hard, because my bad point is the reaction to s1mple playing for Falcons. Bro, people actually are trying to act like he is washed after his only ever series in CS2. But, which implies, like I said, that's why I phrased it that way. It's not that I knew he was a fraud the whole time. Shit. No. If he was a fraud, you'd go, let him play a month and I bet he'll be shit. No. You want him to literally just stop playing now because in your heart, you thought he was going to carry 2. Admit it, motherfucker. You all thought he might actually just walk in there and drop a 30 bomb because we all know he's s1mple. And then I'll just leave lastly a real piece of analysis, which is, bro, he wasn't even that bad in these games. What are you talking about? Like, first of all, he isn't the AWP, remember, dickhead. Like, he actually was playing like an aggressive rifle role. I even saw rounds on T-side, by the way, where he looked like a role player. He looked like actually he wasn't like, I'm s1mple, give me all the shit. Like, he wasn't even trying to be CS2 s1mple. So I actually thought, look, it wasn't a great game. I know they could have still won. It was still close. It's not like Falcons was great, but people's overreaction to this. Boys, everyone laughed at everyone for saying ZywOo was shit after like 4 maps. He at least was playing the game the whole time, and he was in the best team in the world. This motherfucker's on the Falcons team. You all say shit, and he played 1 game, 1 ever, and everyone acted like he's washed. He quit CS2. It's like, what is this?
Sometimes I think it's our fault that people's reactions are so fast that because if we make a joke about something that just happened, that people think that's serious about one game, that they think that, oh yeah, it's truly a sign of bad times for like the next year or something, that you can't have an off map or an off day without it just being a joke.
Yes.
Who thinks that if s1mple played entire month of matches with this team on Falcons, that his average rating wouldn't level out? Maybe it wouldn't be 130, but it'd be 115.
Yes.
And you wouldn't have anything to say. I mean, that's just a fact.
They're acting like CS2 is like ZywOo having to actually wear the Bane mask, but all it shoots into him instead of venom is Katowice air.
Like, it's literally easier. The game is literally easier.
Keep going.
The game is literally easier. All these players just have to play, and s1mple didn't play it, so he has to play it more.
Yes.
Whether or not he gets back to top 5 or top 15 doesn't make him a fraud if he's not number 1. You know what I mean? That's a totally different sort of strata of expectation for someone like s1mple, who's playing, trying to make success on an international team in CS2 after taking a break, after whatever, all these things. So I'm with you. I mean, I don't think he's going to be top 1, but again, that has nothing to do with being a fraud. Like, what the fuck? Like,
it's the way low key. That is like, we've actually nailed it, guys. It's not even about anything to do with CS. It's just like, essentially, the fans seem to think this isn't a sports scene. We're just playing Among Us. We're just trying to find the imposter. Like, that's like the whole game that we're playing. Like, wait a minute, he wasn't really winning that major. Look, he was pretending to do that task. Like, they were, by the way, all the really good players were spoiler. They were just really good. But you know, the ones that aren't as good anymore, they're just not as good anymore. Like, I'm sorry, I know I'm sorry that sexiest storyline, but it's just life in it.
Yeah.
Come on, what do you think, Maui?
Well, the fan reaction to being as polarizing as they possibly can and incendiary, I feel like, yeah, when Wander says we're in part responsible for that, I mean, I am the one that said after 3 series of ZywOo playing CS2, I said, and quote, that after 3 series of CS2, he is not right now a top 10 player. That was my statement, end quote. But it was just that people took it like, oh my God, you think that ZywOo is the worst player on the planet? It's like, no, literally after these 3 series, I know 10 people that are better than him at this game. And so people always try to up the ante with these kinds of statements. They always say, he's a fraud, he's terrible, you're saying he's shit. And it's like, No, I'm just saying he might be the 11th best player right now, but there's a lot of time to prove this. But it's like you have to know how to like stoke the flames without actually saying something that's going to just make you look like a complete moron. And so I feel like I walk the fine line to do that pretty well, but some people are just, self call outs when they say like simple as wash, he's never going to be good again. Like, no, he was no, you're right. He was actually pretty good in this Metasport thing. Like, especially on CT sides, like, yeah, I'm playing these rifle positions that I haven't seen him play since probably Guardian was on Navi. Like it's been so long since seeing him do this stuff, and he was totally serviceable throughout most of this. And this isn't even cope. It's just that, the expectation was much higher for him. And I myself had it too. I thought that he was going to maybe blow people away or show some kind of donk level of form. Maybe not donk, but like something that was at least comparable to like what a 1.2 rating player should have. And yeah, he didn't really do that, but it's a brand new team. He's playing with 4 new players. He's also speaking. Let's also get this straight. Like he hasn't spoken English on a roster for some time either. And so even though he can speak English well, like don't get me wrong, but like that obviously leads to a little bit of lag in terms of your decision making.
I will say, you know what? I won't do it in a BM way. I'll say it in a polite way. But put it this way, when people watch my Reflections interview with Simple and they go, "Wow, he's answering really quick." I edited out the pauses. Is that a big shock for you? It just made it a better interview, guys. Like, as Maurice says, he still said all the same things in perfect English, but it takes him a bit longer to think. So I will say, it's why, logically, it will be harder to be an international team. You do have to throw that in there, even though he was briefly in the Navy that was international. No, I think people have gone way too far in that shit. Here's the thing, though. Low-key, though, Maui, I agree with you. Because he is the GOAT, so it was possibly came in and randomly had like a big drop. So here's what I'm actually really glad with, though. I'm actually really glad that over the whole series, he was kind of like a similar level. Because no joke, if he had have actually just randomly 30 bombed the first game, I'd have probably been out there doing the opposite of the fans. He's back! He's going to be the GOAT again! He's back! Wait a minute! Holy fuck! Put him in Navi now! Kick s1mple's, get him on the op! I'd probably say that shit myself. So then he would have just flamed the rest out and I'd have looked stupid, but it's okay. I never got too invested in this one. Secretly. I did low-key theater, kind of like put one.
The problem with the real problem with Falcons, same as like Liquid and these other teams, is there's nothing to play now. Like they don't have any upcoming matches. They have no upcoming matches at all. I mean, what are we going to see them in? And if he gets compared with everybody at the end of the year, he missed a half of the year already. Yeah. It's like,
you know what? I'm going to say it right now. If anyone out there is listening, what are we wasting our fucking time with? Let's just do like a suicide squad. Let's make a tournament during the major. Me, Maui, Freya and Yanko work the event. The teams can be like Astralis, Team Liquid, fucking Falcon. It's not a bad little event we got going here,
The last
Yeah,
chance.
let's do it. We'll get it going. And then by the time you're all watching, fucking, oh my God, here we are at the major. Can you believe it? Heroic against Cloud9 in the quarterfinal. We'll be watching fucking Team Liquid play a best of 5 against fucking Falcons, baby. Don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
You like tweeted about that, I think, when I was talking about how like let's end this RMR. We want to see like Spirit versus Vitality right now.
Yes.
There is a fucking thirst for that. Just at the moment where everyone is either at their lowest moment or their peak, or their next game would have been better. Just have them play like right then. Everyone would watch. That's the whole point, right?
Dude, I've actually made this point in the past, but I know, look, I understand because of the way the circuit is, you'd have to unravel so many things. This never could really happen. But I've always said, I actually do think in Counter-Strike, it would be amazing to have like a championship style belt. Because like you say, the second that Spirit won kind of 8 didn't we all just wish we could teleport a month in the future and drop like Vitality and fucking Spirit in like a BO5 on LAN and go like, winner gets $1 million. Like that's like, dude, we all wanted that. We all wanted to see, like, take that donk and just put him against that ZywOo. Let's see it now. Like the UFC, instead of fucking around, because the problem with tournaments is you have to hope they qualify, then get the right group, then all successfully navigate, and then maybe if everything goes right, they meet in the final. You just want it to be at the UFC. It's just the next challenger, right? There you go. You fight the champion. Put him in there. Low-key, part of me does feel like, even though you'd have to change the whole circuit, if you did that right, that would be mad addictive, dude. Imagine, because like UFC, imagine the hype. The whole week before, you'd be thinking like the UFC, like, fuck, imagine what could happen. Who's going to win? What does this mean for CS if Don quit? You know what I mean? It would be fucking sick, bros. It would be the best.
Does anybody even have a vitality point for ugly? I just want to remark on something.
No.
I need to get off my chest. Okay, I was kind of thinking this is making the ugly thing, but like right now, like for vitality, I'm just so concerned. This is a total tangent, but I'm so concerned about ZywOo barely opping at all. Like, is that concerning anybody else? Like, they're basically playing with 5 riflers. Like in both the Cloud9 series and the Ent series that they played at the RMR, like ZywOo was out-opped by Boomage, and he was out-opped by Hades. Like, is this not like, can we acknowledge that this is a little bit worrying for Fate or for Vitality and ZywOo, that they don't actually have a strong op presence right now, because he hasn't really bought in on the gun yet in this game.
That's true, and he literally did lose to Cloud9, like in that RMR, right? It was the 2-1 game or something, 2-0 game.
Yep.
So that was an important game where they're trying their hardest. Like they absolutely, wanted to take that. So I guess so. I guess the only thing is, like, I've always, like, even when they had Navera on the team, like 2020, they had ZywOo immediately when Navera joined the team. ZywOo just like dropped the op on every map. He just like stopped opping on Inferno, playing B with an MP9 on Inferno. It was like he just really doesn't want to do it. It does strike me as someone who just literally is doing it because he's the only one they can trust with it, I guess. Like when Navera was on the team, and I really think we lost something there to Valorant. I'm not going to lie. Like I actually think Navera is one of the big losses because he was really good, and he was actually a good enough opper that you could trust him to op. Like when Guardian was opping in place of s1mple, he wasn't actually good enough, or he's just too far along or something. It wasn't working. So s1mple had to take it back after they switched him out. But with Navera, ZywOo did trust him with the op, and he was very good. And then the team was operating. But if ZywOo is going to be the primary opper, but he just doesn't buy the op on like 40 to 50% of the rounds, then Vitality are going to have a problem because they're not in their peak form.
I know what you mean. Like the joke is, if he doesn't op, they start to have the same problem bloody Cloud9 does. Because that's one thing I've always found weird. I'll just say it right now. Right, this is what's whack. I'll tell you right now, because I'll give the quick analogy, even though I know you guys aren't football guys. But if people are Europeans are watching this show, they'll know what I mean. When people do the classic debate, it's like the s1mple versus ZywOo one. In football, it's Messi against Ronaldo, right? And the analogy goes, because it's the same sort of fans, believe it or not, gravitate to the same player. What people always tried to claim was this: if you're a Ronaldo fan like I am, what you say is, at the end of the day in football, by definition, a goal is the most important thing you can do. It wins you the game, and you lose the game if you don't score them. So the one who scores the most goals is basically the best player to me. Now, what they'll try to argue for the Messi one, because he's sort of like comparably as good a scorer, but he's maybe like a better sort of assist man, as it were. They'll be like, yeah, but he does more though for the team. He does more things. And I'm like, yeah, but as I just said though, you win by scoring goals. Like you don't win by having possession, looking great. You win by scoring. So if my guy really is the best goal scorer, I can just say he's the best he's the best player, case closed. It's the same thing in my opinion with s1mple and ZywOo. I actually think s1mple is just the best fragger ever in Counter-Strike. And I do think fragging will win you or put you in position to win a lot of games. If you could just frag round after round after round after round, especially like they do in the hardest scenarios, you are by definition the most valuable player in the game. I don't care how many clutches Perfecto wins, how many genius rounds Glaive or Carragher call. At the end of the day, you being on my team and them having a team without you, I'd rather have you. You scoring the frags is going to put me in the best one-man position. Now, similarly for ZywOo, that's why I think they've done this whole angle, guys. Because what their angle is like, oh shit, yeah, they might be right. Maybe no one is better at fragging. Oh, but wait, ZywOo is more versatile. He is a well-rounded. They go with that angle. They try to make it sound like he's got this depth to him, this breadth and thing. But here's the problem with that. I actually think they've gone way too far the other way on that, guys, to go to your point, Launders. When he did it occasionally in the last Vitality in CS2, and the logic was he does it when it's actually like a map, for example, where it's better. Like maybe on like Vertigo sometimes you should have a rifle, or maybe on T-side Inferno it doesn't make sense to have the AWP and go first and die immediately, right? On those scenarios, it did give some versatility to Vitality. But to bring it back to what you said at the beginning, I do think they're a worse team when he's not an AWPer. Mate, there's a reason a lot of the greatest clips he has are just amazing AWP highlights that no one except s1mple can do. Like, if you take that out of your team, you just lose like a massive knockout punch, don't you?
You're almost calling into question like what he wants versus what the team needs, right? Like if he wants to rifle, that's fine, but the team needs him to op. And like s1mple would never do anything except for what the team needs to win the most. That's why he has the highest KPI.
It's why the joke really is they actually should just fucking play together. If this is the way it is, then just have ZywOo rifle and s1mple op. It seems like you've got not only have you got the problem solved, you'll have the game on fucking lockdown, mate. Yeah. And by the way, I'll just throw this out there. Imagine the world where s1mple is the AWPer and then he dies and then ZywOo's the one picking up the AWP. Boys, isn't the table just rising? And I haven't got one of those motorized ones. Like, already's the dream, innit? And the joke is they're all speaking English. They're not even in fucking French and Ukrainian teams anymore. Just get over it already. Just get a hotel room and play together. Play wingman. Yeah.
That's like the big irony about super teams. We only hate super teams because they fail. Because they consistently fail. But that one wouldn't. That one would not fail.
Well, the joke is, if that super team fails, we shouldn't even ever actually acknowledge it failed. We should just end Counter-Strike. We should just be like, you know what? If that doesn't work, it was the game that was shit, not them. Close it down. We're all going to play Valorant or something. You know, like at that point, why even continue?
That conclusion as far as possible.
Exactly.
That was the game all along.
Right. Okay. See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.